Q&A, man. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. And we're just gonna talk, today about the R. Kelly scandal. I wanted to bring these brothers in to kind of get their opinion, all together. We haven't talked about it, behind the scenes too much. So I want to hear their expert opinion on this R. Kelly situation. So we'll go right down the line, start with Darrin and, start from there. Introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm Darrin Marrion. Retail SEO, man, Darrin's Coffee, man, and, just all around hip-hop news, Uncensored.com. Just here, man. Just got a couple of things to chime in on.
Brother Khonsu.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Brother Khonsu, Sheshmu, Amun. BlerdPlanet.com, HipHopUncensored.com, Team Osiris, Aboriginal Consulting Corporation, man. I'm all over the place. I definitely want to, there's some things, man, I definitely look forward to discussing.
Indeed. You already know who this is. SamAnt, CEO, Viral Hip Hop News, one half of the Uncensored podcast in the building this evening on a Wednesday. And here working for y'all, man. Indeed. Looking forward to hearing these brothers' perspective. You heard our perspectives numerous times on the Uncensored podcast, whether on Viral or on Hip Hop News Uncensored. Appreciate each and every one of y'all support. So yeah, like old guy said, man, we wanted to get our brothers in here, Brother Darrin and Brother Khonsu, to get their perspective on all this nonsense that's going on, man. So yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, so what do y'all think about, the recent R. Kelly developments? Now, you brothers are a little bit older, than us. First, what do you remember, knowing about R. Kelly, back in, I guess, 80s, early 90s? And what do you think about now, everybody, even Georgia now trying to pursue criminal, charges against R. Kelly now? What is your thoughts on this? Any one of you brothers can go first.
Frankly, I think it's a witch hunt, man. I think it's a witch hunt. Unfortunately, I was talking to my kids and wife about this the other day, and one of the issues that I have with this, with what R. Kelly is going through, is there's no standard. In some states, the age of consent is 16 years old. In other states, it's 17. Other states, it's 18. So there's no real standard. So if you're in Indiana, and he's from Illinois, so if you're in Indiana, which the age consent is 16 years old, if you're in Indiana dating a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old, you're legal. But if you go right across the border where the age consent is 18, I believe, then now you're breaking the law. That's what's moral and what's legal, or it's a fine line. And I think whenever you start to try to legislate morality, that's when you start to run into problems. And that's what we're seeing, is when someone is trying to legislate morality. And then you hit the R. Kelly situation. So we're just seeing it manifest itself.
Brother Khonsu, how you feel about this whole R. Kelly scandal right now?
Yeah, I definitely think it's Brother Darrin took the words right out of my mouth, man. I think it's, a witch hunt, because, and my mind is a little bit more geared towards us as black men. I think it is misappropriated attempts to destroy the image of black men. R. Kelly, as far as I know, has always been the way he's been. As far as I know, he went to court and they exonerated him. He wasn't accused or whatever he was accused of. Number two, that other personal stuff, I can speak for me as an individual. If you put your hands on my niece, and I believe she's underage, my daughter, I'm gonna come deal with you without. It's like it's crazy how y'all put that video out with Master P. I thought I was in the room with Master P. I thought me and him must have talked a couple of years ago, because come on, man, what any man of any substance would not say, look, man, I'm finna get with dude's soul, man. I'm getting ready to, I don't care what my wife, my mama, hold on, baby, slow down. No. I'm getting ready to go holler at dude. And I know where you stay. and I got to come and ask permission to talk to my child. To me, it sounds like, you know, Lifetime's making some nice little money. Some checks got issued out. I'm not going to fall for the trick. I'm a black man, and I'm not going to perpetuate false stereotypes. If R. Kelly ass get the electric chair, the gas chamber, whatever, good for his ass. But I don't know what he's done. I don't know what he's done. But whatever he's doing, should have been dealt with, man.
I gotta ask you a question real quick, Khonsu, because I heard some brothers that had platforms that said they were from Chicago, and they were saying like it was well known that like he would hang out at different spots, high schools, you know what I mean? Do you know anything about like that? Was that like common knowledge coming up in Chicago that people knew but nobody did anything about it like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was common knowledge. You know, it was common knowledge that he liked young girls. But it's common knowledge that your uncle liked young girls, your father, and everybody else in black families. So, yeah, it was common knowledge, and I'm not generalizing it. Specifically, R. Kelly, you would see him at high schools and stuff like that. No question about it.
You know, this whole conversation really seems to be bringing on a debate and a conversation and almost a divide amongst black people, because on one end of the spectrum, you have the conversation of, okay, R. Kelly he's being railroaded. This is a whole plot to destroy a black man. And then you have on the other equation is, why aren't we taking care of our black women? Where is the justice for our black women? And Oh God and I are receiving a ton of backlash on both sides of the spectrum because, like, you know, we play right down the middle. So we're all obviously going to receive backlash on both sides. But I want both of you gentlemen to elaborate on the divide that you see going on amongst black men, and black women in particular with this event going on. Because it definitely seems like sides are being taken in this situation.
Yeah, it's like they're it's like the media. I hate to say the media, but you know, it's just like there's a controlled effort to continue to drive a wedge between black men and black women. It's almost like the time when we start to get close, where it looks like things we're going to get to the point where we're going to unite. We'll be able to come out as a united front and to be able to take on the various systems of oppression that are in place. Something like this comes up, and it's always around sex. And I think that's what, you know, that is what should jump out. That should be like, should set off, you know, like just red light, sex, because whenever it's around sex, it's, you know, that's the one thing that black men and black women have always kind of, that's, you know, that's that soft spot. And it's like that's that one, you know, it's that one spot where a wedge can be driven between us, because, you know, during the times of slavery, you know, the black man actually, he had to be there while the black woman was raped. And so the black woman has these deep-seated, sensibilities against black men, because it's like, you know, hey, you weren't there to protect us. And so we're all children of that. And we're all dealing with that, you know, with that, just that sociological, those issues. And something like this is just continue. You know, it's sad, man. It's sad because I see us getting set back another year, 2 years, you know, by a Lifetime movie.
I totally agree, man. It's an extension of the assassination character of black people on the whole. I was talking to some people yesterday. I said, do you guys know who Kevin Spacey is? They said, who is that? That let me know right there. Even if you didn't know, did you know that his news story was the #1 news story on Associated Press? Kevin Spacey got 30 counts of sexual assault, in which court started for him day before yesterday. But you don't see a Lifetime special on Kevin Spacey. Now, he got 30 registered counts of sexual misconduct. Harvey Weinstein did even worse, and his case was thrown out because they claim that the victim's material was tainted. But these are two influential people, very wealthy people, and nobody's talking about them. Yet they're committing the same adverse crimes. And this is the byproduct of white privilege and white supremacy in the United States. This is what's causing this divide between us, black men and black women, because we're not being objective to what's going on. We're being subjective to a media out system that is not indicative to our culture. We have a special situation in our diaspora that requires special attention when it comes to media assimilation. And we get influenced in such a negative way that a Lifetime movie can divide the house of black people. And that's something that has to be done. That's definitely a serious issue.
And as you say that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to just offer a little bit of devil's advocate pushback, you know, on this, because I get it and I understand exactly what you brothers are saying, but what do you say to the people who say, you guys are just making excuses? Why not like this guy, you know, mess with children? He messed with young children. Forget all the other stuff. Forget this. You're trying to protect this guy. That's the first thing that people are going to say. You're trying to protect them. So what do you say to that aspect of the society who says, look, man, this guy needs to go down, whether he's black or white. Don't bring the race card into this. We don't care. All these guys need to go down. What do y'all say to that?
Well, it goes back to that number, that number. What's the age of consent number? You know, you're trying to legislate morality. You know, a child is a child. I see a child as somebody that's in elementary school, that's in middle school, you know, and then you have that fine line where it's from a society, you know, it was okay for 13-year-olds to marry a 20-year-old. Now, is it right? I don't think so. Is it something that I would condone? Definitely not. But if our society that we live in puts these constraints, it says, all right, this is the year, you know, this age is where it's the cutoff, then that's the issue. That's kind of where I look at it. I look at it black and white at that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I would have to say, I'm not letting them off the hook. I'm not defending them at all. I'm indifferent to that because I know if you put your hands on my daughter, I'm gonna beat your ass beyond recognition. I can only speak for myself. I'm not about to generalize every black person, because if those black people were that adamant, then commit an act of vigilantism. Get you a plane ticket, bus ticket, train ticket, and go kick R. Kelly ass. And then show and prove what you talking about works. We're in a system in society where we have governmental issues in place. We got laws in place that protect human rights. Now, we got an issue with that because a lot of times the system is broken and we do not get treated fairly. Do I appreciate R. Kelly? No. Do I like some of his music? Yep. Is he a pedophile? Probably. I'm gonna say it's a big chance that this dude got a serious problem. But so do Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, and a whole other slew of black and white folks. That don't substantiate anything. But I'm not taking up for them. I'm being realistic about it as an adult. If you want to take the law into your hands, why wasn't it done already? Why did it take 25 years for this to culminate? Because I'm sorry. Me personally, bro, I've never met a sexual offender sitting next door to me. I've never had none of my nieces or cousins approached by a sexual predator. If they did, so far they kept it to themselves. Maybe they know us well enough to know. Because R. Kelly wouldn't be living right now. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Thanks.
What you want me to do?
Right. I want to talk about Harvey Weinstein and Spacey real quick, because that's a good point. A lot of people in the comment section are also real critical of us not bringing up Harvey Weinstein, not bringing up Kevin Spacey and various other white celebrity like that are right now being charged for these kind of heinous crimes. And I rebuttal to them in saying, well, you tell us not to worry about the Grammys because it's not ours. You tell us not to worry about the Oscars because it's not ours, Golden Globes, etc. But then you want us to hold Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey and these people that you tell us not to care about to a pedestal. Why not Catholic churches, etc.? So then I go and I start spinning my wheels and go, okay, well, in the Catholic church, the majority of those boys being molested are, I mean, it's colorful, it is the white boys. Hugh Hefner had a bunch of snow bunnies in his mansion. Kevin Spacey, 30 counts, predominantly white and white boys. So when I look at these acts, I'm like, okay, well, although they're terrible and we would shine light on it, you as black people tell us not to worry about that, but they get mad at us when we don't worry about it. So I want all the brothers on the panel right now, Ogai, you as well, to kind of speak and elaborate on that.
Well, I think that it's validated that we don't even have to make them a priority to even talk about them because they're not in our area code, so to say. But we're talking about a system that has privileges for those of a different ethnic group. It's white privilege in this justice system and in this penal system. And it's quite obvious because we got primary evidence. Bill Cosby sitting in jail. All right. Harvey Weinstein case gets thrown out. Kevin Spacey, we don't know what's going to come of it. We haven't even gone into other aspects like Mr. Sheen, who was openly transmitting a disease. We're not even going in those arenas because we could. That doesn't justify the acts of our own people. Yeah, that should be a priority. But the problem is we are pandering into a marketplace that takes advantage of our insecurities and some of our own natural problems, like any other ethnic group of people. And the sensitivity around incest and child molestation and rape is very high in the Black community. We all know this. And so for it to be marketed and promoted at such a high alarming rate, and our own people don't check themselves emotionally, that needs to be addressed. And that's why the Weinsteins and the stuff get mentioned. I could care less about Harvey Weinstein. I could care less about it because he got the money, the power, he took care, did whatever he had to do. That's just on him. Once again, if it was my wife, aunt, or niece, wouldn't be a Harvey Weinstein. So it makes you wonder, I can't be the only person that think like this. So what's up with these children that R. Kelly messing with? What's up with their parents? What's up with the adults in these children's lives? Are they actually being proactive or what are they doing? Because with the Lifetime channel, what I noticed is this one particular couple that seems to be the most popular one. They're doing this circuit thing where they're popping up on all the radio stations. And the one guy who's the husband said he called on Kelly to ask him to please let him talk to his daughter. I just clicked, I stopped watching because it was non sequitur at that point. So that's what I'm saying. At some point, man, we got to start using logic, man.
Yeah, we have inappropriate responses to a lot of the situations that we're faced with. They're inappropriate. When we see, like, I'm not going to, like you say, I have a daughter. I'm not going to ask, I'll get on the phone and say, hey, is it okay if I speak to my daughter? I'm going to go get my daughter. I'm going to raise her up to the point where she's not going to run off with some R&B star, with a nice car in the first place. So, that's just that's an appropriate response as a parent. So if we look at, if my daughter was going through something like that, if my daughter was I guess in a sex cult with R. Kelly, an inappropriate response would be to go out and make the circuit. So we don't know, we don't have the maturity as a people to be able to handle situations like that, man. That's sad. It bothers me when I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I could agree and say that the way that the media attacks, us, it seems like it's more, more intense. Like this Kevin Spacey thing, it was kind of out there, but it kind of wasn't. You know what I mean? It was there, but I don't know. It was just weird. But the R. Kelly, it was like the media, and to me, it just showed me how powerful the media, actually is. You know what I mean? And propaganda could be that all these people that were quiet for all these years now want to come out just because of a Lifetime special with Facebook and Twitter and go tear this man down. And really, I think that, like, yeah, this one I want to ask you, Khonsu. Wasn't it civilizations in Black, Black history where, that was pretty much common for them to marry younger women? Am I right or wrong?
No, that was customary.
Right.
It was customary just because of the expansion of the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the family members were related to each other as they bred back into each other in African history. I mean, that's just human history. So of course, a lot of us now, our society, we wouldn't dare do it. It's not a part of our culture, but that doesn't mean it didn't exist.
Right, and there's other cultures where people, you know, women are groomed, you know, pretty much, and they put, you know, pair them up with people who they think, you know, will be best, and sometimes those guys are older. You know, I'm not sure if they're in their teens, but I know it's like situations where it could be gaps. You know, when I seen a guy who's been my landlord. He was a Pakistani guy. His wife had to be 20 something. He was like 50. You know what I mean? So yeah, you see that. You know, definitely.
Indeed. I want to switch gears real quick. I'm going to share my screen for you, brothers, because I seen something on IG, and this is straight conspiracy theory and shit, but it brought up a good question in my eyes, and I want to get everybody's perspective on this. So allow me to share my screen real quick, brothers, real quick.
Y'all are so crazy. I've read a lot of comments about me, and little do they know I was behind the whole operation, not knowing that I've made millions of dollars off of your opinion. Let me tell you how I made this money. First off, I actually got a call from one of my good business buddies, Arnold Colabar. He liked that dark coffee. He called me and told me it was my time. He said, I'm about to get you millions of dollars. And I was all ears because there's money involved. He said, we're going to put this out on Lifetime. A series of allegations against me, which the world already know. So immediately I got on the phone with all the women that I used to talk to back then that was good friends of mine. And I told them, I said, this is our chance to make millions of dollars. I even paid my ex-wife off to be a part of this. So stop. I finessed you.
Now, obviously, that was a tape that was made by a fan. But the question is interesting. Did R. Kelly and Lifetime set this up for financial gain, in your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, I don't put right. I look at everybody's faces. Price. I mean, look, it wasn't doctored or nothing, right? I don't like it was doctored. Nothing he said. It could be possible. It could be definitely possible. You know what I'm saying? Who was that? Jack Triller from This Is 50, right? That was his picture?
Yeah, Jack Triller posted it, but it was an IG from John_Hunt2743. That's who gets credit for that. And you could tell that it was R. Kelly's. It was R. Kelly, obviously, but it was put over another voice. So he voiced over on another video. But like I said, it's a real interesting question, man. Like, all right, how much money did Lifetime make off this series? How much backlash did they get off of this? How many people did this really piss off to where we got these kind of videos going on and F. R. Kelly, but meanwhile, Spotify views and listens are going through the roof, but then they're dropping music, and meanwhile, R. Kelly's sitting back winning. Now we got criminal investigations going on. Is all this just a big-ass distraction?
When's the McRib coming out, man? That's my next thing, man. So we got the government slow down, the government shut down. You know, I always say, you know, whenever the government is trying to sneak something over on us, man, the McRib comes out. So that's why I'm waiting, you know, this it sounds about right, man. It might be a big conspiracy thing going on, man. But seriously, it's all a distraction, man. It's a distraction from the real conversations that need to happen. Like the conversations about, you know, about child pedophilia, about incest, about the black family, the problems that we have as a black family. This is all a distraction and a way to break us up, split us up.
Yeah, I have a tendency to believe that could happen. I'm gonna be honest with you, because we're talking about free market enterprise. Reality TV is TV. Everything's reality TV. It doesn't make sense that you wait almost 30 years to start talking about this individual. I could see R. Kelly getting a cut. I can see that. You know, I wouldn't be surprised, man.
Well, they are using this image and this likeness and some of his clips on what I hear. So I don't know how that would be possible without him being able to sue and get a cut. Somebody can't just come out with a video with all your stuff, and you know what I mean? So, you know, it could be possible, you know? So we'll see.
I mean, and then you see TMZ and you see all these major media outlets pushing the fact that he may be criminally charged off a Lifetime docuseries and this and that. And they're controlling the masses and controlling the narrative very, very well. And we hang off of anything that they say and react off of anything that they say. They ain't stupid. They know that. So although this isn't something that, I mean, obviously this isn't being brought out on the mainstream media. I don't know if anybody's even raising this question but us, but you got to wonder.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm concerned about, is what's becoming a precedent. Because you're telling me that, I mean, I'm a YouTube creator. If 300 YouTubers come together and say Khonsu is the devil, and they keep doing it, and Khonsu did this and Khonsu did that, I can face criminal charges because 200 regular folks start talking bad about me. That's what I'm concerned about, like the legal precedence that's being set. We talking about a Lifetime movie that's setting up criminal charges. Like, I don't know, man. I'm more concerned about that.
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary. I think in Chicago they were trying to conjure up something up there as well. They're supposed to be reaching out to some of the alleged victims in the case. So I don't know where this is going, but I don't know, man. We're gonna see how it turns out. That was like a curveball right there. I didn't expect that one, you know.
Yeah, it was funny because I seen it come through a couple hours before, and I knew we were going to do the podcast. I was like, man, I gotta ask this question right here, and I'm definitely posting this shit because, wow, you hear this and it's so confident. Then everything that he says, it's like, yo, all right, yeah, that makes sense. They're gonna make money from it. That makes sense. The fact that R. Kelly didn't sue, and we talked about on a podcast a couple of days ago, John Benet Ramsey's brother, who the young girl who was murdered at age 6. They did a series on him on ABC. That man just got $700-something million from suing them because they defamated his character and things like that. So if he could get that, you can't tell me that R. Kelly, when they're using his likeness, his figure, and destroying basically his whole everything that he's ever done, you can't tell me that he doesn't have a case here. Now, with all that being said, what do you guys think about the whole sexual cult thing and him being able to manipulate? Because we all know what the Pied Piper means. We all know the history behind the Pied Piper. But we also know that a lot of the women involved in the sex cult are of age. So speak on that. Speak on the sexual cult thing and the whole Pied Piper theory in that regard.
I was talking to my wife about it, and she was saying that, you know, that when he was growing up, he didn't have control over his sex, over what happened with him sexually. So that stunted his growth. It's stunted his mental growth. It's stunted his mental growth up here. So naturally, when he got into a position of power, then he would want to exercise some sort of control over someone sexually. And so he's trying to live that out, and he's going to continue to live that out and live that out and live that out until he can work that out through some sort of process.
Right, well, that's very interesting, man. You know, yeah,
it's some sort of process. He has to work it out.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, man. I think it is a psychological issue. I do think the women are of age, and that's just his cup of tea. That's just his cup of tea. If that's what he likes to do, and he likes to have a harem all around the house, that's interesting.
What do y'all think about Aaliyah? Because you know, she kind of was getting around back then. Dame Dash, Timberland, Jay-Z. You know, then the rumor came out that Jay-Z supposedly took Foxy Brown's virginity when she was in her teens. What y'all hear about any of that stuff? What y'all think about all that? The Jay-Z in particular, Foxy Brown, and it's the whole culture of that.
I think it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's normal. You got the culture of living in the neighborhood. Chick is single. I'm single. We both acting like we single. Things gonna happen. When you bring the element of music, it happens all the time. It still happens. It is not nothing new. And that's what I'm saying. It gets blown out of proportion with this whole media aspect of it. But I think that is quite normal. I think it happens a lot in those music circles. I think it does. I don't think it's as rare as people think it is.
Yeah, my grandmother used to always say to my cousins, "Don't be out there being fast." Cause we know these little fast ass little girls, and they call it being fast when they was 14, 15 years old out there running around, being fast. So, I think now as we talk about it, I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, I wonder how many black women are gonna see this and they're gonna say, well, how come ain't no sisters on the panel? How come ain't no sisters up there talking about it? So, and it's yeah, man, I can go on.
What do y'all brothers think do you think 18 is the appropriate age? What do y'all think? Like, cause Darrin, earlier you were saying that you think it should be even across the board, like the age of consent. In your opinion, what do you think is the proper age of consent? What I should say for both of y'all.
I would say I'd have to go with 16. That's just because that's the state that I live in, and that's that is an age where people get a driver's license. They get the chance to get behind a deadly weapon, which is a vehicle. That's when they get driver's license, all that stuff. So that should be, if they can make that decision to get behind a vehicle to something like, it should be 16. If it's going to be 18, then it needs to be 18 across the board. But now I think you can't. Yeah, I'm thinking 16, man. Would I ever mess with a 16-year-old? Hell no.
Yeah, I'd have to say, I'm thinking 18. That's not much of a difference, but you're legally doing other adult things that will put you in the capacity of operating as an adult. And when it comes to sex, that's an act of reproduction. It's a natural act. And the family needs to get more involved with these youngsters that are committing these acts with these adults. They need to check these adults. But generally speaking, I think 18 is appropriate.
Well, one of the issues I would have with being 18 as being a number is, what if you have someone that started school at a later age? So this person theoretically could be 19 in high school or 18 in high school dating a 17-year-old. Then you run into a statutory rape. You run into that situation like that happened to that guy down in Georgia, where he ended up getting, being charged as a sex offender. And
Right.
Statutory rape, because he was with a girl who was a sophomore in high school, taking her to the senior prom.
Yeah, you commonly see those, even like, because in high school, it's like, what, 14 to 18? Like, why are you mixing these kids? You got some freshmen that might like seniors, whether it be, men or, you know what I mean? So it's definitely, a gray area. I think New Jersey might be 17, if I'm not mistaken, the age of consent. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I would go with 18, but then you bring up a good point, Darrin. I would,
Yeah, you did.
Definitely.
It goes to show you. Go, Khonsu. Do you think?
Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
It just kind of goes to show you how programmed we are, though, because even this conversation, talking about it amongst brothers, it's uncomfortable. Like, what age is normal to go ahead and be able to legally dick down? Like, oh, wait, what? Like, it's an uncomfortable conversation to have. And I don't know if that's because of our social programming, because when you naturally think about it, okay, a girl's reproductive organs, they begin starting menstruating around 13 or 14. They end around between probably in their 50s. But now you hear even today, like 35, 36 is the cutoff for women to have children. Well, how does that make sense if they still have another 14 years of ovulation? They should still be able to produce and things like that. That's a normal way of thinking. But society will tell you, hey, man, if you're 30 years old, you try to get with an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old, you're a dirty motherfucker. But then if you're 50 dating a 30-year-old, it's acceptable. So it's a real fine line that's drawn in there. I couldn't personally, as a father, think about my daughter at 16 getting with a man 20-something, 25. I'm kicking in the door, waving the fofo. Like, I don't care what the situation is in that regard. But yeah, all great arguments and real interesting perspective.
Does anybody think R. Kelly is going to legitimately be brought up on criminal charges? You think it's just smoke and mirrors? at this point.
Was Bill Cosby legitimately brought up on criminal charges?
Woo.
So, was it legitimate? So it's like, yeah, really don't know, man. I mean, what?
No.
Yeah, they can make up charge. They can bring you up on whatever charge they want to. We seen that.
I'm starting to see that, and I seen another article. It wasn't substantiated, but it was a rumor, pretty much saying that R. Kelly's going to pretty much bail the country or whatever. I don't know, you know what I mean? But it's turning up a little bit, but we'll see. It could happen. It definitely could happen.
The sad thing is they're using a movie now, as opposed to all the evidence they had 15, 20 years ago. When the sex tape came out and it was substantial evidence that this was R. Kelly, and we didn't know, but we all saw it and we all assumed that this was R. Kelly. They had it then. They had the forged marriage license then. They didn't want to do anything. But now, because a movie came out, now they want to push and feel like, okay, now this is the time. Now we finally got him. That's where shit gets kind of like, all right, y'all playing here.
And real quick before we get out, I want to ask y'all about some of the other celebrities' tweets that have been coming back out. Charlemagne the God, tweets have been resurfacing about him joking about it. Fabulous. And people, what do you think about people joking about this R. Kelly thing and that whole thing? People bringing up old tweets again to kind of put people, in the spotlight once again from 10 years ago. What do y'all think about that?
We live in a society where speech is protected, and its speech is going to be the speech that should be protected is impolite speech. Just because it's something that someone doesn't want to hear doesn't mean that it should be held against you. People get the right to say whatever they want to say, as long as they're not, shouting out, fire in a crowded theater. And so we shouldn't hold that we shouldn't hold something that someone said, years ago or even yesterday against them as them being, this horrible person, because that's just something we all during the course of the day say a lot of probably bad things and not think a lot of bad things. So
yeah, I totally agree. I think that's, again, it's the changing of the guard. I think you have freedom of speech and right of your opinion within that speech. And it's unfortunate with the advent of social media that you could be swayed to go against your own principles. I mean, just like the Kevin Hart situation, I wouldn't have apologized. I wouldn't have even acknowledged it. But because of today's society, you got to apologize for being yourself. That part I don't really get. But again, it's the changing of how we socialize with each other.
Absolutely, man. I do appreciate y'all taking your time out, to speak on this. This is ongoing, and I don't see it slowing down, man. It's like more and more stuff coming out, but we'll definitely, if there's more to talk about, we'll definitely have you brothers back on, to talk more about this. I gave some interesting perspective. Definitely appreciate it, man.
Indeed. Yo, oh God, I got one more question for the brothers real quick, and I'm gonna make it quick before we get out of here. Now, because we talked about Dr. Umar Johnson last week, getting a lot of responses on the Uncensored Truth podcast, and I want to kind of use it in the context of R. Kelly as well. And that's all for just accountability, us holding each other accountable for our actions. We had to divide with black men and black women because they feel as though we're not holding R. Kelly accountable for his acts. You got a lot of people out there mad because we went against Dr. Umar, finally, because we're holding him accountable for his acts. So just talk about us as a black culture holding each other accountable. And is it right? Is it wrong to speak on that?
Yeah, it's right. It's right to hold each other accountable, man. When I see some boys walking with their pants down, I say, man, pull your pants up. You have to be the man to hold them accountable, because we have to iron sharpens iron. And if people made of steel, as we like to say we are, then we need to make sure that everybody that we holding each other as steel. So we keep each other sharp.
Oh boy. Yeah. Accountability is big. When you're talking about Umar Johnson and his influence and some of the privilege he received in the community, yeah, you got to hold them accountable. Yeah, you got to check them, man. That's a requirement. There's no other way around it.
What do y'all think about the January 1st announcement? The brother said that he'll be announcing school for everyone. The FDMG Academy didn't do it again. It's probably it's been a lot where he's I think since 2013 where he's been saying he's going to open it. And the last, I didn't even know this, but they said that his nonprofit status was pretty much revoked at this point. So it's like you're not giving to a nonprofit, you're giving to him at this point. What do y'all think about this, man? As businessmen, is this guy really gonna get a school? Is he going through some trouble? What is your thoughts? You know, without going too hard on a brother. What do y'all think about that though, man? Because it was only a few people that really spoke out about it.
Yeah, Lyndon Honors said that an unfulfilled promise is a lie. I agree with that, man. He made a lot of unfulfilled promises, and you know, I don't think that he has any intention of opening up a school. He might have had an idea, you know, an idea like somebody sitting around the table drinking and thinking like, man, it'd be cool if I opened up my own school. And we had helicopter training and had all this going on and farming and all that stuff at school, man. Man, that'd be a great school. You know? And so he said, well, how do I do? I'm going to go raise some money for it. And then he started getting all this money, and then he started seeing all these women coming throwing panties at him, and, you know, and he started to take trips, bubble baths, you know, in Japan. You know, an unfulfilled promise, man, is a lie, man. So, in short.
Oh boy, yeah. I would say I don't think he's going to do it. Number one, he never had the right team around him. He never had any elders or peers that would keep him focused and influence him with a positive, you know, environment. Nobody is above that. You know, you're never going to make it without a great team. And he didn't have the right people around him that was influencing him in a positive way. And he probably just don't even have the character to know how to apologize, you know, give the money back and move on. He don't know how to do that. So he's in a rock and a hard place right now.
Yeah. What money? That money gone.
A lot of people saying that, man. I would definitely believe it is if he's not going to show it and get people the ledger, you know, the balance. I would say it's gone, at least some of it. You know, I know DJ SamAnt put a video up. We talked about it yesterday. DJ Envy, he bought a little school or something. You know what I mean? They people just buying up stuff left and right, and yeah, it's funny, man. But you know, that's another black eye for us, I think, man, because Dr. Umar was he made it to the Breakfast Club. He was beginning to, you know, not that we necessarily need that, but it's always good to have somebody in a positive light out there, as opposed to some coon and buffooning cat. You know what I mean? So it's sad. So hopefully, you know, do y'all see him rectifying the situation? How would Dr. Umar rectify the situation and get back into the because we will forgive him. We definitely will as a people. What's the plan for rectification for Dr. Umar Johnson in closing?
Open a school, start some sort of correspondence academy, start a pathway to a school. Say, you know, hey, I was out raising money for this, and in the process of me raising money, I saw that my expenses were outweighing how much I was bringing in, and so now I know I didn't have the right team around me, and things just got a bit overwhelming. So this is my plan. Let's start up a correspondence course, and let's start to build from there. I'm gonna bring in these professionals, and let's start to build an academy that way. We might not have helicopter training.
Yeah, man. Open the school up first. Show some effort. Reach out to the community by opening up that school and get some things going, man.
Absolutely, I agree. You know, or give the money back. You know, and, you know, just keep pastoring and going around the country. You know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is. Nah, man. Definitely, man. If y'all have a good one, man. You got anything else, SamAnt? That's all I got, man.
Nah, man, I'm all good. Appreciate